So this is what you really want to see. You want to be able to see how you can store data. You can store data from the chart. Here's one way that you can do it. Here's another text file. Here's another way that you can do it. This is printing to the file from the print log. And then here's the third way that you can do it, a stream writer. So we're going to go over those here in just a little bit. I'll show you how to do all three of those. Let's get to it. Okay, so we have our coding, our development environment. I've got everything, got everything coded for this, but I'm actually going to show you how to do it yourself. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just going to Control A, delete everything. And again, we're going to do it here in a second. I'm just going to verify that, so no issues. Now I'm going to bring the chart down. I'm going to bring all those print logs down. I'm actually going to, I guess I'll just delete this. No, you know what? I'm just going to do it from scratch so I can show you how to do it. All right, so we're going to delete all three of these files. Okay, so they're deleted off the desktop. Okay, so we're going to come over here. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to establish that we want to print something. So you can print range, open, high, low, close. You can print whatever that you want to print. There's a lot of stuff that I look for in the chart. Some of you guys know. I look for anything from the bid-ask spread to the number of, or the size of the bids, swing highs, lows. I mean, I look at a lot of stuff. So what I'm moving into now is the data science part of it. I actually started a course today on Udemy. Yeah, so I'm moving into the data science part. I'm going to take a course so that I can do something with this information. So I just wanted to be sure that I could share with you guys how I'm going to record this information. All right, so here we go. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to establish that we have something to print, which we're just going to print the date time. So we could print the bar date time, right? Oh. But I'm going to take it a step further just to make it a little more interesting. Let's go over here, this workspace, open up the print log, clear this print log. And what we're going to do is we're going to say if it's the last bar on the chart. That way we get something every time. Last bar on chart EX. Then, okay. Clear this. All right, here we go. So if it's the last bar on the chart, then we're printing. So you see what we're printing there. All right, so it's printing the time. This is not the time I'm looking for. This is showing 6:30. What time is it? 6:16? Is it 6:16? Oh, okay, this is a 15-minute bar. And so this is the problem of having stuff like 15-minute bars, because it's going to print the bar that it's currently building, right? So the next bar that this will complete when it's done will be the 6:30 bar, even though it's 6:17, because that next 15-minute increment will be 6:30. So instead of printing this 6:30 bar, we actually want to print what time it currently is. So we're going to go back here, and instead of the last bar on chart EX, then we want to print something different than the bar date time. We want to print the actual date time. So we're going to use the EL system namespace. Sorry, I'm playing my music in my headphones and it's really good. And I'm a little distracted, but all right. So we're going to use a date time object. Call that null. And then we'll have a once block, begin, end. And so we're going to assign DT is equal to a new date time. Okay, and the date time dot EL date time X, which is the format that computer date time is in, is the EL date time X. So now when we want to reference or find the bar date or the date time with the month, day, year, hour, minute, second, we can just use dt dot toString. Okay, print that. All right, so now when we come over here to our workspace, you see the times. So it's still showing the bar date time, and it's also showing the current time. Here's the current time, right? So we're very interested in that current time. All right, so we're just going to get the bar date time out of the way by commenting it out with double slash. Okay, so that's the first way that you can do it. You can just do a print log right to the, you can print right to the print log. All right, I'm gonna clear the print log over there. All right, so the next thing that you can do is you can print pretty much your log to a file, right? So that would look like if last bar on chart ex, then print, and you see here when you type print, you can print to a window, specified file, or a printer. So print to the log window, that's what we just did. So to the file, we're going to do that now. So we're going to put file and then open close parentheses, and then we're going to print dt.string that. Okay, so now we need to right click. We're going to create a text file. Text file. Just going to call it 12/12/24. Okay, and then I'm going to right click that, copy the path, put it in here, drop it in there. Oh, sorry. I thought I was on the main screen so you could see all that. All right, so again, I just created the text file here, and then I right clicked it, and then click copy as path, and then I drop that path name right here with print file open close parentheses, and then you have a comma, and then you have what you want to print. Verify dt.toString. Okay, verify that. Okay, so now if we look over here, you see that on our print log, we're still getting our date time, our computer date time, so the actual live date time to our print log. That's fine. All right, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to see that it's going to our text file right here. So we open that up, and you see it's going to the text file. The only thing about the text file, this text file, is that it will overwrite, right? So it will overwrite. So if I go back to the file here, if I make some corrections and then I re-verify, then I come back over here to my text file and I click in it, it put me brand new information in here. It erased the old information. It did an overwrite. So I do not know that you can amend or append this. It will only overwrite. So now we want to come up with a way that we can kind of get around overwriting. So we do want to save it in a text file, say, but we don't want it to overwrite. So that's when we're going to use the stream writer. Okay, so we got to come over here, and for the stream writer, I believe it is the using eosystem.io. So input output IO. Okay, and then we're going to put a comma, stream writer, strw is what I use, null, and then for our begin end statement, we're going to do strw equals stream writer dot create, and then you'll see that you have a couple options there. Yes, you can type the path and then you can append, right? Okay, so the path name, we're going to create a file. Actually, you know what? We're not going to create one. We're going to let the computer create it, right? So we don't have a file here. It's called 1224 text. We're going to create that here. We're going to take this same directory, copy that, move it up here, and then we're going to do 12/12/24 text.txt, and then close that, and then do that, and then we're going to do strw dot. Well, I'm going to show you two things that happens here. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, all right. So the next thing we're going to do is if last bar on chart ex, then stream write strw dot write line. And what line do we want to write to it? dt dot to string open close that. Okay. All right, a verify there leaves us with being able, we need to now find, because what we did here is the stream writer can actually create the file. Now this file here, you can't create a file. And I don't even think you can use an input. You have to use the file name, right? So let's find our file. Where'd it get off to? Let's make sure we verified it. Yeah, we verified it. So should have created. I've got 4 desktops, so bear with me. 4 monitors. Oh, there it is. I didn't even see it. Okay, so it's right here. Okay, so it created that file for us. So that's a good thing, because some of the times, depending on what you're logging or that kind of thing, you want the file name to be automatically created when you open up the file for the day or whatever. And so you just want it to automatically make you a new file in a folder or a directory. So that is perfect. Okay, so now the thing is now we already hit verify. So we can go here, double click this file, open it up. And when we open this up, you see nothing is shown up. Well, nothing is shown up because the way that this works is that when you have it open on the chart, until it closes, you can't access that information, right? It's kind of locked up. And I'm sure there's technical names for this, but I just don't know them. I am an amateur hobbyist programmer, okay? All right, so what you want to do in order to get around that is you want to do strw.autoflush equals true. Hit a verify on that. Now when you verify, you come over here, double click your TX 1224 text file, and you see we have information here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, let's see if we get another tick or so. Okay, I'm going to click off this. When I click back on it, the information came back up, right? The new information came available to us. Click off of it, click back on it, information became available. And again, in order to be able to do that, you want to use auto flush, and that's great. Okay, so then the last one that we want to do, I'm going to show you one. I'm going to show you that you cannot use an input path name, and we don't even really have to put anything in here. We just put gibberish. It doesn't matter because you can't put a path name in this file space. Okay, so we're going to come down here, copy that, paste that, and then in the file name, instead of this file name area, say you want to make it so that you can adjust your file name on the fly, what you print your file log to, and you're like, okay, well, I'll just change the input name, and then that'll print to a different file. No, you can't do that, right? So I hit verify, and then what happened when I hit verify? File name expected here, right? It expects a actual file name in quotations. Even though this is a string, or we can make it a string, but that's not acceptable. It still expects a actual file name. Okay, so that's just confirmation for you if you needed it. All right, so then the last thing that we'll do is we'll do an Excel file. Okay, so we'll go over here and we'll create an Excel file. Right click on the home screen, hit new, go down to Excel worksheet. We're going to call this 12/12/24 as well, Excel. All right, and then we'll right click on this, do copy as path, double click, and then so what we're going to do here is now to get an Excel file connection, we'll using system office.excel. Easy enough, right? Okay, so now for our variable, we're going to have workbook. WKBK is what I use. Null. All right, and then when we come into the once block to instantiate it, you want to do WKBK equals workbook dot create, and then open and close. And that's it. All right, so a couple things that you have to do for the workbook, and I've kind of fumbled my way through this for a bit, and now after fumbling my way through it over the last week or so, I know what it is. Okay, so you've got to create the workbook, right? Now you've got to And because it doesn't tell you what order to do this in the help section, but I kind of figured it out. Okay, so then the file name. Okay, so you instantiated the workbook object. You set up the file name. You want to load it equals true. And then after you load it, then you set your active sheet. And if you don't put it in this order, if you put the load after the active sheet, then it won't work, right? Okay, and then the other thing that you may want to do is a save on close. So when you close the analysis technique, it'll save. Otherwise, you may lose your data. Okay, and then there's this other thing that you can do, which is to make the workbook pop up while Tradestation is using the workbook. Workbook.visible equals true. Okay, so now we have the instantiation and we have all the parameters set up for the workbook object. So now we can come down here and one more thing. All right, let's do this. I'm going to open it up just to show you what it looks like. Show you that it is empty. Okay, it's here. All right, so it's empty there. All right. And then what we're going to say is if last bar on chart EX, then WKBK dot sheets, and then what is the index of the sheet? We just have the one sheet here. Dot sales as string, and then you have to in hard brackets put the sale. So we're going to do one column over, one row down equals what? DT dot toString. Just like that. Chart EX sales as string. Okay, get all those errors out of there. All right, and you see I hit verify and it already popped up, right? So it popped up here, it popped up here, it popped up here. So we have the two text files, right? This text one and then this text one, right? Okay, and then we also have over here on the print log. Okay, again, so there's multiple ways that you can save your data, that you can look at your data, that you can log, that you can print to files, that you can see what's going on with the information. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to get to them all or that it's a piece of cake to figure it all out, but I hope that this video helped you put some things in perspective to put things where you want them. Now, I'll show you just one more. This is a bonus. This is a bonus. All right, so you see what we have here? What I'm going to do is, instead of if last bar on the chart, we're going to do it for every bar. Okay, so every bar, workbook.sheets 1. So we're on the first row, first column, first row. Let's put a count in here. Count. And on every bar, we're going to increase the count. Well, actually, because it's an Excel file, we need to start at 1. And then when we get done using 1, we will move to the next one. So when we get done using 1, we'll count plus equals 1. All right, and so this will start at the first row, move to the second, move to the third, move to the fourth, move to the fifth, for every date to string. Well, let's not do date to string. Let's do bar date time, because otherwise the date to string is going to use the current date. So let's use bar date time. toString. I am not infallible, guys. All right, let's open it up here. And look how quick this computer. I mean, I don't know if it's the computer or the platform, whatever, but I did just upgrade my RAM, so maybe that's it. But anyway, so here's the first bar date time. So back on November the 28th, 2024 at 6:30. And then we just scroll down and we get all these dates. All these dates. Okay, so like I said, with me working toward data science, data analytics and everything, I want to be able to capture a little bit of everything, right? So I want to be able to capture, say, I'm going to copy that, paste, 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 paste. Hey, what are you doing? Paste, paste. All right. So all of them are doing the first row. So we're going to make this equal to x. And then we're going to have a new variable. X is going to be 1, can't be 0. Because we do need to reference the first column. Okay, and so then after we get done with x, we're going to add 1 to the x. So x plus equals 1. And this just moves us over from the first column to the second column to the third column to the fourth column every time. And then when we get done with that first line of data, with that first bar, when we rerun the whole line, when we rerun the whole program and come to that next bar, we need to reset x back equal to 1 so we go back to that first column. Okay, all right, so that is that. That's x, 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 x. All right, and then instead of bar date time, now we're going to do the range of that bar. We're going to do the high of that bar. We're going to try to find out what the distance is from the high minus the 200 period moving average. All right, we're going to find out what the distance is between the 9 period moving average from the 200 period moving average. We're going to ask what the ticks are, and lastly, we'll check out what the what VWAP is. Range. It doesn't like range. Oh, okay. So cells has strings. So when you assign to an Excel spreadsheet, I don't know why it works like this, but it needs to know if you're going to input a string, a Boolean, an integer, or something else, the fourth one, whatever the fourth one is. All right, so here we did a string, so string is fine. This is going to be a number. There's a number, there's a number, there's a number, there's a number, there's a number. So instead of cells as string, it'll be cells as double. And we could do cells as integer, or cells as Boolean, or cells as... Why am I forgetting the last one? String, Boolean, integer, double. Okay. Yeah, we're using double. Okay. All right, so we're just going to copy this. Paste, 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 paste. And ticks is not a double, won't have any decimal places. So we can do cells as integer. S9, SA9. Okay. All right, we just verified it. Looked like we got some errors or something. Error getting sheet not found. Really? All right, what do we do? Oh, we did sheets. We did sheets of X. Oh man. Okay. X supposed to be here. This is the column. Sorry about that. It probably found it for the very first one, because the first one would have made it 1. Sheets would have been 1. Man, I've been programming all day, guys. All day long. It's a labor of love. It really is. All right, so this conversion may lose bits of precision. I think it's just talking about this. Oh yeah, ticks. I guess it thinks that I need decimal places at the end of volume, which I don't. So anyway, here we go. Let's open up the Excel spreadsheet. Where is it at? All right, so we got to go back to the... Oh, no. Okay, I think you guys didn't see any of that. You probably didn't see any of that. But here it is. Okay, here it is. All right, so If last bar on chart EX, we're going to right line. That was what we had before. All this is the new part here. So again, we are just taking X, so the first column. When we get done with the writing in the first column, X plus 1 makes us write in the second column, third column, fourth column, fifth, sixth, seventh. What we're going to write in the column is the bar date time, the range, the high minus the 200 period moving average, the 9 minus the 200 period moving average, the volume, or VWAP. Here for count, we went to the top and we use count here. Count starting off as 1. We took count and count is equal to 1 here. So this is the column, this is the row, first row. All this goes in the first row. The data will go from left to right. And then when we come back around and run on the next bar, our count adds 1. So that means we drop down to the second row, and then the third row, and then the fourth row. All right, so let me verify this. I hope you didn't miss all the good. Well, and honestly, it's the bonus section, so, you know. All right. Let's go here. Let's make sure that we have it turned on. All right, now it's running. Come back over here. All right, there we go. All right, so all the way back up to the top. All right, so typically what I do is I'll leave a space at the top, though, so that I can have space for a header. So I have the date. I forget what this was. Range. High minus SA 200, SA 9 minus SA 200. This is volume, and then this is VWAP. Something like that. Okay, and so you see for every bar date time going back from 12.3, it just gives you all the data. And then, like I said, my objective is to then take that data and determine with a range of X, or if you're looking at the distance from the 200 period moving average, if the distance from the 200 period moving average is X amount, then how often do you have a long candle, right? So do distances further from the 200 period moving average make the ranges longer or shorter? That kind of stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to talk about it with more assurance and confidence later, but like I said, I'll just be starting the course. So anyway, guys, I'm Eric. I'm out. Oh, like, subscribe, share. Okay, do that. And oh, by the way, I appreciate. I still, man, I got a whole new 3 subscribers. So I'm at 203. Thank you. All right. Thanks everybody. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.